What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I swear, I go through my comments sometimes and I really question what people are comprehending, right? And I think sometimes people they see it's a black woman blogging about these critical topics and it just irritates the demon in their souls. And they start saying all this stupid stuff like, why does everything have to be about race? And if I'm talking about Kamala Harris or her identity crises or whatever, they're like, you making it everything about race and her race doesn't matter. And why does her race matter? And it's like, excuse me, old ignorant one. I never made Kamala Harris's candidacy about her race. I wouldn't have never even cared about her race if she was not leveraged by her race. And I think it's really dumb and even gaslighty for now these Democratic shills to come up talking about why does her race matter and race doesn't matter. And it's like, yeah, normal people would feel that way, right? If you would have propped her based off of her qualifications, her background, her track record, that would have been great, right? But no, they played the race card with Kamala Harris, right? And now they're trying to make it seem like other people are making things about race. It's like, no, you guys played the race card in the first damn place. And now everybody else is just responding to how this card has been played. And because it's been played so many damn times, right? People are not biting the bait as they used to, right? And now they want to backtrack and act like people are just making stuff up about somebody's race and making everything about race. It's like, you were the fire starter, Democrats. You guys keep playing these identity politics cards and leveraging people because of their gender and their race. And then you have the audacity to jump on somebody, my live stream, and like, why does it matter that she's black? Why do you have to make everything about race? And it's like, sir and ma'am, y'all whole damn party done sold this woman based off of her race. Like, what is wrong with people? Like, I cannot stand it when people come on to my live stream with that dumb shit. It's like, just comprehend what is being said, right? Because everything that I have been saying in relation to Kamala Harris's race has been all about how she has allowed herself to be leveraged and sold. I've been focused on that for a reason because they wanted to make it all about race. So I'm like, okay, let's play the race game. And as we're picking apart why she's not what you say that she is, we're revealing how you leverage your candidate's identity, not their qualification, because they're puppets. They're puppets. Anytime you have to leverage somebody's identity characteristics to sell them, that means they don't have any character, no conviction, and no higher intelligence to really do the function. You just need a presentable looking puppet. And that's what they really ultimately got with Kamala Harris. But off that, I've been accused of being a hater. And it's like, why would I be a hater? I am operating on my own accord. I'm not a paid blogger. My channel isn't even monetized, and I choose not to have it monetized because I don't want to be beholden to these advertisers and what they want folks to say. So they dangle their little pennies at you, right? And the minute you start talking some other way, now they're trying to act like traitors. I don't have time for that. So this is a 100% independent channel. But when I talk about Kamala Harris, people are like, oh, you're jealous of her because I'm speaking these obvious facts, These are things that are very observable, and I think it irritates some people's soul because I'm a black woman saying this, and obviously that's not the narrative that they want people to be perpetuated. They don't like seeing black intelligence, right? I've seen these little liberal demons come up in here trying to undermine my intelligence. I see you, right? But they don't like black people straying away from their plantationary way of being and thinking as well, because black people are supposed to be and think a certain way. They've actually programmed and designed their media to narrate this. So us, any black people person straying away from their little programming, right? They want to automatically get their passionately ignorant people on the mic to vilify us. But I'm not a hater. I just call things like I see them. But if you don't want to hear some of the things that I say from a black woman, I want you guys to listen to Kevin O'Leary and let me know if Kevin is just hating on Kamala's too, because he's stating the same damn obvious points that I've been stating in my damn blog.
Concept of the panel tonight. It's going to be short dissertation, but I want you to think about this because I watched like you did yesterday, and something hit me pretty hard. Only 90 days ago, Pelosi went to Biden and said, "You need to step aside," and convinced him to do so. He made a decision, and he did actually ask her, and we've now learned this: is she the right person to drive?
So even Biden was not sure, even when he made the decision that obviously I'm too old to do this anymore, right? He asked Pelosi, "Are you sure Kamala can take us to the finish line?" And I'm pretty sure Nancy Pelosi was like, "I don't know, but we gonna work the hell out of her race. We gonna work the hell out of her identity card and see what happens." They know they were taking a risk with Kamala Harris. They knew it. Their whole damn party knows it. So when I say it, right, it's not coming off as I'm being a hater. It's just what the hell it pans out to be, what it's looking like. What it's looking like to me is that her whole damn party was not in favor of her, but they knew she was a card to play and they just played it. They had nobody else. And I keep saying that. The Democrats had nobody else because that's how crooked the people on their side are.
Drive this home. He questioned that. He could have said, "We need to run a process in order for me to make this
They
move."
might as well put somebody crooked up front. I mean, shoot.
Not to. I don't know who they is. Was it Obama? Was it Pelosi? I don't care who it was. In stock picking, just listen to this analogy. And you may agree, you may not. 88% of managers, this is the world I live in, cannot beat the S&P year in, year out. So you give them $1,000, the S&P beats them. They can't pick stocks. This is the second time.
Now, hang on. I want to go here because he's going to talk about how the Democrats play their own damn people.
This is the second time the Democratic Party has circumvented democracy and chose.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Hillary Clinton was chosen, and she had Bruce Springsteen too. And what
So they're saying, so Kevin O'Leary is making the point that, hey, y'all stole on Bernie Sanders, right? He's really talking about that, right? He was like, Hillary Clinton was definitely selected, right? Y'all stole on Bernie. Y'all definitely stole on Bernie. Yeah, she was the card to play, and y'all stole on Bernie so that Hillary could be the nominee and she could lose to Trump.
What happened to her? And now we've chosen.
Kevin, Hillary Clinton won a primary. Okay, she won a primary. You may not.
Primary that was stolen from Bernie Sanders.
Nobody could compete with her, even Bernie Sanders.
She won a primary. Okay. First of all, that's the first
So
thing.
did Kamala Harris win a primary?
Listen,
He said, did Kamala Harris win a primary? No, she didn't. She was selected again. They used Hillary Clinton because here's the thing with Hillary Clinton. I really do believe this. They thought because Bill Clinton was her husband and black people were so favorable to Bill Clinton. I don't know why, but we were, right? We didn't understand his policies. We just looked at the saxophone and all that other stuff and got a little tricked. But Hillary Clinton thought, because we got this, a lot of people like Bill, right? They thought that they were automatically gonna like her ass, but people didn't like Hillary Clinton. I mean, she got the vote because obviously by that time the Democrats were narrating Trump as a racist and infiltrating his rallies with their on-call Nazis.
I'm talking about it tonight after what you just saw.
Do you think that's really what matters to voters?
right now.
You're obviously under orders not to talk.
So the quiet part out loud, which I have been saying out loud, and people are like, "You're a hater, you're this, whatever," is that she was a card to play. She was a card to play, and they played her using the race card, right? She's ambiguous. She's a woman. She's checking all their little DEI boxes, right? And it's interesting that you'll hear Democratic pundits, bitch and moan about people calling black people or black looking people or people of color DEIs. But when you really get to the heart of the DEI, right, it's really about them propping unqualified people of color in these positions, right? There's a lot of qualified black people in America that could run for president. There's a lot of qualified people of color that could do all kinds of things. But what the Democrats do is they prop the unqualified people to be in these little high ranking roles. And then that is where people are like, that's a DEI. What is the DEI from the insult slang perspective? It's that person clearly is not qualified for this job, and you are propping this person because of identity and not because they truly have the qualifications to get in and do this job and do it with the level of character, conviction, and knowledge that it requires, right? So I think that people call Kamala Harris a DEI because she truly is a DEI. And I don't even like people using that term as an insult, right? I really don't, because there's a lot of black people who, or people of color, whatever, who are in a position and they're well qualified for it. And with this little slogan, with this little thing that they do, what it really undermines and it demeans the truly intelligent and capable black people. So when they are in a position, it'll always have people wondering, did they truly get there because they deserved it or qualified for it, or are they one of those diversity picks? Kamala Harris is definitely a diversity pick because the Democrats made her a diversity pick. They literally sold her on her here's this. Oh. Um they literally sold her on her identity. I've had like this moth in my house and he's just hanging out. I can't catch, and they're like the easiest thing to catch. I just want to release it. But she's a diversity pick. She's a diversity pick because the Democrats sold her with the diversity requirements. She's the first this. She's the first that. And they were all about her identity. So when people come and they say, well, why does her race matter? Ask the Democrats. Why does her gender matter? Ask the Democrats. Right? Because they're the ones who are tokenizing these people, leveraging their identity talking points, right? And then getting upset when people kind of go against them. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's one of those things where I'm tired of people coming into my chat like, why does it matter? Ask the damn Democrats. I think it wouldn't have mattered to anybody on a good day. Like, I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about Trump as a white man. Like that's not even like, maybe that's just like a given, but I don't hear a lot of people focusing on Trump's white supremacy or anything like that. Like, they're like, the guy, he has a track record. They're talking about what he's done. They're talking about what they liked in his first term. They're not centered on the fact that he's a white guy, or any of that stuff. It's like with Kamala, we are centered on her being a construct of black and a woman, right? So we've completely been deflected from maybe all the other things that really are important to her because they sold her identity before her qualifications. So I feel like people don't get mad at us, right? Because you sold your candidate this way and you sold her in a manner that she could be just tore apart. This is the problem too. If you go back and I can't even just put it all on the Democrats because she allowed them to play the identity card with her. She got her ass on TV on these little interviews several different times, and she's like, I'm this, not I'm mixed with this, or these are my lineages. It was always like, I'm trying to get a token for the Asians and I'm trying to get a tokens for the blacks. Like she's just getting tokens using her identity and they're just puppeting her all the way. So the whole point of this blog is to say, don't ask me why I focus on why Kamala Harris is not black, right? You need to be focusing on why the Democrats keep selling their candidates as using the race card. That's what you really need to be focused on. Why does the Democratic Party have to leverage people's race and identity to just get people to like them? I know plenty of people of all races, that, I mean, I don't care if you're that race. It's like, where's the mutual benefits in exchange? You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at, but I'm not a hater. I think, even these Democratic shills are kind of, admitting that, you know what? She was just a card to play. She was just a card to play. You think
Lying like
and shout out, this is on the Jimmy Dore. He's talking about this CNN interview where Kevin O'Leary
Election
is just
season
stating the obvious part out loud. He's just stating the obvious part out loud that Kamala Harris was a card that the Democrats played and it didn't really work out.
wish.
Your whole shtick has been seen pressure.
Of touch they are. They only have these jobs.
From
Other than to get a great president.
It's not a process.
That's right. I'm
The primary
perfect for this.
process in this
I have no
country
skin in the game
is
other
not
than
in
to
the
get a great
Constitution.
president.
It's not in the Constitution. The political parties can choose however they want to choose their nominee.
Right.
And as long
There you
as they
go.
meet the legal deadlines in the states where they are on the ballot, they can do it however they want.
Well,
They can
I just want to be
decide.
Well, there it is.
transparent. Yes, I was
They
born
can
in
decide
Canada,
in
but
December 2023 to just handpick somebody.
Just to
They
be
don't even have to have a
transparent.
primary.
I was
They
born
don't
in
even have to have her there. She just says it. They could do whatever they want.
So basically, the Democrats aren't playing by conventional rules, anyways. And we've seen this with their last two presidential nominees.
Democrats made in court when they got sued for fraud
course.
by Bernie voters for
course.
misrepresenting the contest as a real contest. They
Right.
said we could pick the candidate in a back room smoking cigars like the old days. We're a private company, but to go up there as a journalist and defend that
Right.
as somehow proper and right, and him being in the wrong.
So we see how the Democrats are playing on their side. They're stealing the nominations from their candidates.
Fund that
They're not
using a
loyal.
professional money manager,
said this
they
before.
almost all miss. This has always been my point. Year after year,
So
Okay,
Kevin
can do-
O'Leary is saying the quiet part out loud with the Democratic Party, unfortunately. And not unfortunately, obviously, right? And so don't come over here saying that I'm a hater. You heard it from a white dude yourself, right? You didn't even have to hear it from my black ass. And he's saying the same damn thing that I'm saying, right? She was a card to play. She was a risk. And they are seeing the outcome of that risk because she's plummeting in the polls. She's not doing well. She's not resonating to people, A lot of people don't trust her. So again, I'm going to say it like I said in my last video, lesson learned for the Democrats. Stop playing the identity card. Stop playing the identity politics, because it's not going to work out for you moving forward. It just isn't. Just pick good candidates and put your best champions on the table. And we don't care about if they have a penis or a vagina. We don't care if they're black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. Just put your best champions on the table and stop playing these dumbass games. So I really do hope that after this election, right, I don't think Kamala Harris is going to win. I don't think she should win, right? But I think that, even she should take a long vacation after all of this witching, regroup, and find herself. That's my advice to Kamala Harris. Last point, because I wasn't going to stay on for very long. Candace Owens, I saw this blog yesterday, and I don't really care too much about all these people, but this other blogger was like, Candace Owens is banned from Australia, right? And she was obviously someone who did not care for Candace Owens, right? I do not care for Candace Owens, but I do care for people's freedom of speech and their expression. But I've always believed in time, place, and manner. And despite other people's beliefs in Candace Owens and her little Nancy Drew investigative reporting, she has not been very tactful, especially when it comes to the conversations about individuals in the Jewish community. Now, she's saying that she's being banned, it seems like, because of her positions on the Israel Palestine conflict. I can't believe that is true. I do believe it really was because she was facilitating very not tactful in many times or many regards conversations about individuals in the in the Jewish community. And you know, regardless of what people think, for me, I believe that when you kind of look at the succession of a Candace Owens, right? She came from the Zionist machine that she hates so much. Right now, they raised her. They raised her, right? We wouldn't even know Candace Owens without the Zionist Jews, right? They raised her. Dennis Prager, Ben Shapiro, they raised her, right? And then they turned on her when she wouldn't stay on code with the talking points of the conservative think tank. Because even a lot of her homies on the conservative side, they understood where their limits were in these conversations. And I've heard certain conservative individuals walk on eggshells when they're talking about Zionists and Jews and stuff like that. But they weren't overtly out there talking on highly white supremacist talking points about the Jews. And Candace was that dogmatic to do that. She was not very scrupulous in how she facilitated her conversations about the Jews. And this was beyond Gaza. This was her little super sloop. And a lot of that in the beginning, I really felt like it was straight stabs towards Ben Shapiro. She was throwing shots, little silent shots at Ben Shapiro because obviously they've had their little differences in the Israel Gaza thing. Obviously, Ben was a little unhinged after October 7th, and he obviously was very passionate about some things. He was kind of ranting like a demon to me. I couldn't even listen to his ass talk or just rant about anything. I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro. But I felt like a lot of what she was doing was just a succession of things that happened. So to me, it's like when you start talking about the Jews and you've came from broken relationships like that, I don't really trust that you're coming from a pure intention at all. You know, I just don't. Like, it's just, I don't think that a lot of the stuff she was doing was pure intent. And I think a lot of it was reactive based off of her experience with Ben and the Daily Wire. She was trying to obviously probably do those little subtle shots, but it didn't work well for her because obviously he has a machine that's bigger than her. They can coordinate against her. And I think that if Candace Owens is very honest, this whole Australia thing, like they have the worst COVID lockdowns. So you already know they are straight Marxists over there, right? And so I don't think that like a Candace Owens being in Australia, doing a book tour in Australia was something that they felt like was necessary for their nation. I think they were like, we could live without Candace Owens coming over here, right? And that's basically what they did. She's banned from Australia. And I really think it was just her not being tactful in the way she was running off at her mouth, right? So you can't talk about the Jews like you've been talking, like you talked about the blacks. It's just, unfortunately, black people, we just don't wield that much power to even coordinate against your ass. But obviously, Ben Shapiro's people, they got that leverage. So, lesson learned, honey. Stop talking about them Jews, right? Obviously, they don't like that. They still stopping her bag. They still stopping her bag. They still stopping her bag. Like, I mean, and I will say this: the swift coordination against people like Candace Owens, right? When she is spouting these disagreeable points, no matter how threatening, you know, certain individuals in the Jewish community may feel about those things, you're kind of proving the points. You're kind of proving a lot of the, what you guys would consider tropes. Like, to me, a trope can only be a trope if it's a trope. But if there's patterns of a trope being a fact, it is not a trope, it is a fact. So my whole thing is some people need to check their people because they are totally living up to ideas of tropes, or at least they are making tropes true, right? And they're going to say that I'm anti Semitic for pointing out this fact. But y'all know some of y'all people. If you're Jewish and you know how some of your people rock, where they just work hard every day living to make a trope true, y'all know who I'm talking about, right? You got to check your people. But, anyways, you guys, have a wonderful day. What did you say? Why y'all keep calling her camel toe? God damn it. Every time I look at my damn chat, I see camel toe. Jesus. I mean, every time I look down, I swear I don't pay attention to the chat, but it never fails. I only see about 5 of them at a time, but within that damn 5, it's going to be a camel toe. Just, y'all ridiculous. Y'all so ridiculous. He said Kamala Bear. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute, Kamala Bear. Less insulting. I don't like ad hominem attacks. I don't really like ad hominem attacks. I think some people, obviously, they live up to their reputations. But what you say? You said F Israel. I don't want to say that. I listen. I pray for peace in the world, right? I really care about the people. I don't care about the governments, right? The governments are the evil forces that really demonize the people. So I can imagine that there's a lot of Israelis who are feeling demonized by what is going on in their region because they may not be rocking with everything that's going on over there themselves. And yet, I mean, it's just like being in America. I don't rock with everything that this country does. I don't rock with everything that America does at all. But here I am in America, right? It doesn't mean that I support everything that America does. You know what I mean? So I pray for peace in the world. You know what I mean? I don't think that hate is a beneficial feeling, right? It's a burdensome feeling. It takes a lot out of your soul to be riddled with hate and that much evil and demonism. But a lot of people, they are taken over by the satanic world. They are evil in their spirits. They have evil inclinations, and we just pray for everybody's soul, and we pray for protection against such demonic people. I pray, I think about people in war torn countries all the time. And to Candace's point, I literally had to take a break from X for a while because for some reason I was getting inundated with massacre pictures from Gaza, and it was like really kind of like bothering me, and I didn't know why I was getting this influx of like, mangled and maimed and you know and I just, I pray. It's I don't have any control, right? You don't have any control. All you can do is look at pictures like that. You just look at pictures like that, and you think about your kid, you pray for those kids, you know what I mean? But we don't have any control. Like, if the United States is going to continue to send billions of dollars of weapons to make those images realities, and I can't control that, right? I can't. I really can't. So what I do is I just pray for all of it to just be burnt to hell. And that's why I pray for Armageddon. I pray for the destruction of this earth, just like in the days of Noah. Those are things that I pray for. Those are things that are on my mind. I think that mankind has gotten to a point in their existence on this earth and in history where we are absolutely capable of causing maximum carnage on this earth. And I think that, we're going to get there. And that's just the beginning of the birth pangs. So for me, I just keep my prayers up, and I keep my prayers up for those people. I just like think about just little simple moments where I think about a little Gazan kid that's just sitting on a beach having like a moment of sunlight, last sun, last rites to life that they never got a chance to live. And I tell my kids all the time, be grateful. When they start complaining, they think I'm mean because I don't allow them to complain. I don't allow them to feel like they can't do certain things, because it's like, you know, there are kids on the earth that they don't know if they're going to eat every day. They don't know what they're going to eat, if they're going to eat. And you just need to be grateful. You just need to be grateful for the things and the experiences that you have, that you can go out of your house every day and you don't have to worry about, bombs or nukes. You know what I mean? A lot of people have a sense of security that other people around the world have never, ever, ever experienced in their life. And I don't take those things for granted. All right. I'm not one of those, I'm a very simple person. I don't desire to be a billionaire. I don't desire to be hyper wealthy. Like, if I were a billionaire, I'd be thinking about how many humans I can make a millionaire real quick. I'd be just saying, like, okay, what is it? How many millionaires can a billionaire make? You know what I mean? Because I don't need that. Like, but just enjoy the simple things. Like, it's the simple things in life that really matters. Like your older grandma, like forcing you to listen to some older stories, and you didn't really care to hear the stories, but then, like, weeks later she, passes away, and you're just thankful that you stayed there to listen to those stories, right? So love your people, appreciate life. you know I don't live for riches. They come and go. You can't bury them with you. And at the end of the day, you just, I think life is the most valuable when you got people that you love And when you are able to create moments with them that are so priceless that you wouldn't give them up for multi-millions of dollars. That's the real life. That's the simple kind of life. And I think the simple kind of life makes you rich in so many different ways in your soul. So, anyways, you guys, that's just my moment of fellow human feeling. I am anti-war. Um, so I don't support conflicts abroad. I don't support any nation that is, facilitating, any type of genocidal acts. And when people ask me, do I support Israel? It's a firm no. But I do empathize for Israeli people. I do empathize with the Israeli people. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? I don't support governments. I support people. So anyways, you guys, we are almost at the end of the American witching cycle. It looks like Trump is in for a victory, but remember that red wave by the Republicans? I'm hoping it don't be no crazy stuff like that, but I just can't see Kamala Harris getting to the finish line at all. And I don't even believe her and Trump has been neck and neck this entire time either. I think that they're fluffing the polls. They're trying to create little margins of error so that, I don't think it's this close at all. I just really do not. So, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I didn't expect to be on very long. Check out that Kevin O'Leary. Is it O'Leary or Leary? On CNN. He's just drilling them, right? He's just stating the quiet part, the obvious part out loud, that the Democrats, they keep making these weird fruity picks and it's not working out well for them. So there's that. And where's it? And I guess some people are having some opinions. I was looking at a couple of bloggers. They're talking about how Shannon Sharp emasculated himself having Kamala Harris on his show, Club Shay Shay. I don't think it's possible for Shannon Sharp to emasculate himself with that particular interview. Like, there's plenty of other things that Shay Shay has already done to sort of take some masculation points away from himself. So I'm gonna say no on that. Was it a puff? Like, was it a fluff interview? Was it another softball interview for Kamala Harris? Yeah, but I stand on my commentary last night. I'm not in these commentary spaces to vilify and demonize and be on a bandwagon of ignorance. I just kind of look at things objectively. I think in the beginning of the interview, she had a really good shot of showing us something somewhat organic about herself. And then she just tanked. She just literally tanked. I don't know if somebody turned the earpiece on and, the instructions started coming about what to talk about. I don't know. But she tanked. She tanked. She talks about Donald Trump way too much. And I know that that is what her camp is probably telling her, vilify Trump, vilify Trump. But it's like they're getting really sensational with their rhetoric. They're getting very, very sensational with their rhetoric. I think I saw something Eric Adams said today that they need to dial down calling Trump a fascist, right? And Democrats give fascists more than me, but I mean, them and their corporate side chicks, you know what I mean? It's like, think about all the people that changed their squares to a rainbow or a BLM thing, right? And that shows you who's really got the fascism on lock, the corporatism on lock, the people who are punking the corporations. You're not going to get a subsidy unless you get a rainbow on your handle. Those types of folks, right? What did Maxine Waters say? They wanted to own the companies. Like, have you guys ever read Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand? This is like Atlas Shrugged to me. I've talked about this several times. The state of America is like Atlas Shrugged. If you ever just want to binge, just find a good book to read, I would encourage people to read Atlas Shrugged. I can't find that. I had Atlas Shrugged. This is also a good book by Ayn Rand. I'm a bit of an Ayn Randist. I definitely believe in the code of individualism, but that's a good one. And I didn't get a chance to finish reading Fountainhead. I kind of got bored, but I'm going to give it a revisit. I'll give Fountainhead a revisit. It wasn't as interesting as Atlas Shrugged for me. Atlas Shrugged is a really, really good book. But check out her perspectives on capitalism too, right? I do live by the code of individualism. And I don't believe in herd mentality. I don't believe in groupthink. But I do believe in, having fellow feeling, right? And I do believe in being my brother's and my community's keeper, right? Um, but I don't believe in herd mentalities. I don't believe in groupthink. So I like Ayn Rand's philosophies on individualism and objectivism. And if you're just bored and want to get out the matrix of ignorance, check out Ayn Rand. I'm not gonna say she's a wonderful person, but I think that some of her ideas on capitalism and even how the government is panning out is a bit prophetic. She definitely was a bit prophetic to me. So, anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm not talking about Diddy. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and thank you for tuning in. If you did content like this, hit that subscribe button because YouTube loves. I don't know what they're doing with my content these days. I had one day where we were just having such a great conversation, and then all of a sudden they just stopped the chat. And I'm like, everybody, put a 1 in the chat if you can still chat something. And they were typing stuff in. And yeah. So let's see. Let me go through some of the chats here. Are you Aaliyah? Aaliyah died, unfortunately. Great artist. We loved her. Atlas Shrugged, the book the occultists used to follow. I don't know about all that, but it really is a good book because it tells you kind of well, I don't know what context you're saying it in, but I definitely think that it is the rule book that the people who are trying to Klaus Schwab us. I do believe that is one of their playbooks. I think Saul Alinsky is one of their playbooks. What is it? Rules are Radical. I'll tell you another book that I encourage people to read too. If I got so many books everywhere, but the Fabian Socialist Society papers, the Fabian Socialist Society's papers. Those are some interesting reads. It's almost like walking through Marx and Alinsky's head in some of these books. But then when you kind of see how these strategies have been employed in the political spaces, you're like, holy shit, this is whew. Atlas is about to shrug, y'all. Atlas is about to shrug. What happened when Atlas shrugged? Anybody know what happens when Atlas finally shrugged? It was like the let them eat cake moment. The people just rose up, they got smarter, they figured out that we're all John Galt. We're all John Galt, right? The world falls down. That's right. That's right, Be Strong. What happens when Atlas shrugged? Great book. Great book. And I think YouTube even turned it into a movie. I think YouTube had the 3-part series too. So if you just one of those reading challenge people, you can always go and look at the movie on YouTube to get the concept. But that part, remember when Henry Reardon, remember Reardon had all that, he had Reardon Steel, Reardon this, Reardon that, and they were slowly short squeezing Henry Reardon out of ownership of his companies, even placing regulations. And then when Dude Steel was obviously the most competitive, right? But they wanted to take him out the game. So what did they do? They started putting all these media, so-called professional subject matter people, journalists, hit pieces out on Dude, right, to destroy the reputation of his product. These people are mad coordinated. And Ayn Rand actually just calls out a lot of coordinations that we see happening even today in the government. So check out Atlas Shrugged. That's a good one. Using people based on their skin color. That is what the Democrats do. This is why, when people, they're like, why do you care if she's black? It's no big deal if she's black. Who cares about her color? It's like, look, on a normal day, we all would have not liked to have cared about her color. But she was sold on her color. She was sold on her nationality. So we're just like, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. Now we focus on her damn color. All right? We are focused on her color. All right? So, it is what it is. Like I agree. If you're saying that it's racism that they're leveraging her color, I agree. I absolutely agree. So, let me see. They said that's why they wrote her out as black when she's not. And the problem with her is, like, she's like, my mom, she made it clear that she was raising two strong black women. All right, well then why'd you run as a East Indian? Why did you stick to the script as an East Indian? If your mom raised you as a black woman, right, you not claiming no Indian because you've been divorced from the Indian culture supposedly. But it seems as though she doesn't know what her upbringing is like. And I don't think it's fair for us to have to keep guessing. Like, we know her mom bought a house when she was a teenager, right? We know that, right? Tell us about the dynamic between you and your sister. Did y'all get along? Was there any competition between you and your sister, Kamala? Like, these are things that I think people would want to know. Just get a little deeper in her. It's funny when you see Trump go to some of these rallies and faces and people within those states and those cities that he's been at, right? He's reminiscent. Like, he's talking like he's old country them, right? I mean, I'm like, sometimes Kamala Harris send us down memory lane, and it's like, did you even immigrate to America during that time? I'm just curious, right? I'm just really curious where you even immigrated here, right? Because everybody keeps saying she was raised in Canada, and I'm like, this is the Drake effect, right? Here, this is why Drake's career is dead right now, right? Because now we accepted Drake in there into the black culture, right? Even though he was not a foundational black American, Drake is ambiguous as hell too. He's a Canadian, right? But we accepted him in here, right? And I think sometimes people just get too comfortable. They just get too comfortable. But anyways, we gonna pray for Kamala that she gets some more get a better. I feel like this is a learning curve for her. I feel like this whole experience is just a really big self-reflection journey. Like, when she looks back, if she loses this election, which I think she will, and I'm not wishing bad upon her, it's just the proof is kind of looking obvious in the pudding. right? But I feel like if she looks back and she analyzes things gone wrong, I think number one, I think she's gonna kind of wish that she was allowed to be more authentic and not so robotic, Stepford's candidate. I think she's going to wish that because we got nothing this entire time until the very end. And even then, that was kind of like some forced stuff like, hey, get out there. They don't feel like they know you enough, right? So tell them some personal stories. That's how people feel like they get to know you. But like when you get down to the end, it's like, how it's like, it's kind of too late, right? I think what she's, all the effort she's trying to do, it's kind of too late. Like Club Shay Shay, honestly, that should have came way before. Like once they kind of threw her in the ring on a whim, they should have started like something like that. Probably they should have did Club Shay Shay way earlier. I don't think it was a bomb interview. I definitely think she just went downhill at the end of it. But it wasn't like that was probably one of her better, more organic interviews that she's done since she stole or since Nancy Pelosi and all the other Democrats decided that Biden was not going to be their guy, right? So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Democrats are making a big deal. I guess the Puerto Rican guys joke. I'm gonna say that comedian. I don't like the whole notion of a roast comedian. I'm gonna be honest with you. Can we get the George Carlins back? Can we get the Richard Pryors back? Let's get a new generation of those types of comics, right? These little creative comics that they coming up with, the roasting comic, and then this person is allowed to say all kinds of racist shit because they're a comic. No, that's not comedy. Like, I don't even want that to be new comedy. That is not comedy. That is some slick way to say some racist ass shit in the name of comedy. I think that is an insult to comedy, actually. Right? So I'm not down for these quote roast comics, right? I'm just not down from that with those types of people, right? Give me my Eddie Griffin, give me my old school Eddie Murphy, give me my George Carlin, give me my Richard Gere. I'm actually good with those brothers. I don't even like the new comics because they're all bogus. They're all bogus, and most of them are not funny. They're exaggerating and obnoxious. And for some reason, people have literally thought that being obnoxious is the new funny. It's not. It's stupid as hell, some of these people. The modern comics, they're obnoxious and they're dumb. Like they're not quality at all. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.